name is Shafielis Magpayo and I'm here to introduce to you our company, Fantech. It was founded in 2009 and their company is all about creating and innovating gaming peripherals for gamers. It is also sponsored multiple esports teams in Southeast Asia and individual players in other countries worldwide. The Gear Up and Win slogan was created to help gamers in mind by supporting them throughout their gaming journeys. It has over 20 offices worldwide and is known as brand popular with gamers in Southeast Asia, Oceania, South America, the Middle East, the USA, and Europe. So what is the problem statement? The problem that the company has given us is that they do not have a proper inventory system. This project will have a proper inventory system that tracks whether how many left are inside the inventory and even track the inventory from returned items.
Hi, my name is Joros Philips Jose, and today we're going to discuss about business rules. A salesperson should have a unique ID. They can assist a customer with their orders and assist more than one customer. They also are assigned to one warehouse. Warehouse. The warehouse has a unique ID, the address of the warehouse too. The warehouse should also show its capacity and how many stock of the product is inside of it. Product. The product should have a unique ID and the price and quantity should be equal to 0 or greater than 0. The product name and type should be shown. Order. It has a unique ID. It should include a date when it was ordered. It should also have the unique ID of the customer and the total price of the customer's order. Supplier. The manufacturer has a unique ID and the manufacturer should also know the product's unique ID. The manufacturer also includes its address. Order list. The order list should have a unique ID. In this entity, it shows the items inside the order of the customer. The price of each item should be included too. Customer. The customer should have a unique ID, a name, and a contact number and be assigned to one salesperson. Corporate customer. The customer should have a unique ID, a name, contact number, and assigned to one salesperson. Employee. An employee should have a unique ID, a name, and a contact number, and the warehouse unique ID as it is assigned to one warehouse. Return. It should have a unique ID and the date of when the customer returned it. This should also include the reason on why it was returned. The status of the returned item should be included and the unique ID of the order. Quality check. When an item is returned, it will undergo a quality check first. If it has minor damage, it will go back to the warehouse. If the item is really damaged and unusable, it will go to damaged items and go to supplier. Damaged items. This is where the damaged items getting stored that did not pass the quality check and will go back to the supplier.
My name is Rudilo Manlabay, and I will be explaining the ERD. For our ERD, we have two types of customers, in which these are the regular customers and the corporate customers. With this in mind, we will assign a unique ID of customer ID and corp customer ID respectively. For them to order a product, they would need to go to a salesperson entity in order to make their order. This will then create and process the order of the customer in the orders entity. This will now have an order list, which are the list of products inside the order, and this will also have the payment of the customer. From the order list, we will now go to product, and in here, we will have the specific product or item's price, and this will also show the stock of the product. For each product, there is a product type. There are 4 product types, and these are the keyboard, headset, mouse, and chair. These 4 are the types of gaming peripherals that the company is selling. Next is the warehouse. This is the inventory and the one storing the products. The warehouse also shows the stock of the products, and the warehouse will show its maximum and minimum capacity. Next is the employees. An employee can be assigned in a warehouse. Next is the supplier. The supplier will supply the products for the warehouse to store. Next, we have the return entity. A customer can return a product as long as it is a viable reason as to why. If the item is returned, then it will go through a quality check to check if the product or item is either minor damaged or was the reason of the return was a change of mind. It will then go back to the inventory, which is the warehouse. If it failed the quality check, it will now go to the damaged items entity, wherein this will store the items or products that are damaged and has factory defects. From there, it will go back to the supplier as it is not fit to be offered for sale.
Next, we will talk about our SQL script. Hello, this is me, Ethan Wayne P. Margin, and I will be presenting our SQL script. First, let's run the code. There you go. So our database name is Funtech Inventory System. So let's talk about our tables. So first is the product type, which is the type of the product. The product, for example, if it is a keyboard, a mouse, or a headset. Next is the supplier table, and next is the product table. Next is the warehouse table. The warehouse table. This is the inventory of the script. So you see the stock count here. And next is the employee table. Next is the customer table. They are assigned to one salesperson. Next is the orders table. This is the order of the customer. Next is the salesperson table. They are the ones who handle the order of the customers. So for the customer to order, they will have to go to the salesperson. Next is the corp customer. This is also a customer but a corporate type. Next is the order list, as customers can have multiple orders. Next is the returns table. If a customer returns a product, it will go under here. Next is the damage items table. If the product has a factory defect, the product will go here. Lastly is the quality check. From return, the item will go here whether the returned item is still good to sell or not. They will go under a quality check first. So next is the foreign key constraint. First, we added here the customer table. The customer table has a foreign constraint key of salesperson ID. For the next table, we have orders table. The added foreign key constraint here is the corp customer ID. And next is the salesperson table. We added the foreign key constraint of customer ID and the corp customer ID. Next is the supplier table. The added foreign key constraint are product ID, warehouse ID, and damage ID. So let's go first to our values. The values of each table. We have the product type, supplier, product, warehouse, employee, customer, orders, salesperson, corp customer, order list, returns, damage items, quality check. So let's call some of our tables. First is the product type. There we go. The supplier, the product, the warehouse, employee. So those are the tables. Now let's go back to our trigger. I will explain what the trigger does. So here is the table, the trigger script. We included one trigger. Let's call first our returns table. Let's call first our returns table. So as you can see here, the return status here is approved, but with this trigger, if we call our orders table, we can see that the status of the item has been returned to the company. So let's check it. So let's put the orders here. So as you can see, returned, and approved, returned, and rejected. So it means if it's it's returned to the company, and whether if it's approved or rejected. Now let's check our views script. So first we have here our available products view script. This script views the products that are available. So let's run it. So these are the available products. Next is we have the customer orders. The customer orders view lets us view the order of the customers. So this is the script. So let's run it. As you can see, this is the orders of the customer. Next we have here is the procedure. For our start procedure, we have here the update inventory. What this does, if a customer ordered the product, it will be subtracted from the stock count, which is the inventory from the warehouse. So let's call let's call so let's check first our warehouse. As you can see, we have warehouse ID 301. We have warehouse ID 301. It has a stock count of 200, and the product ID is 401. So the first line here, which is 401, this is the product ID, and 50, this is the ordered item, or what item are gonna be subtracted from the stock. So if we run this code, we have here 200 stock count. If we run this code, we're gonna subtract 50 from 200. As you can see, it subtracted from 150. 200 minus 50 is 150. So that's the update inventory third procedure. For our next third procedure, we have the adding inventory. If the supplier supplied the warehouse, the product ID will be the product ID, which is 401 with 50 quantity. So if we run this, but let's check the warehouse first. So we have here warehouse ID 301, stock count of 150, and the product ID is 401. So let's say we want the supplier added 100 product ID products. So if we call, there you go, it added 250 from the stock. This is Group 7, and thank you for listening on our presentation.